With your permission, I'll use the majority leader's podium just because I'd like to see my good friend and, of course, congratulate Senbam for taking up this issue with urgency, an important issue that's very important to us. Sir President, may I ask the good sponsor and author of this bill if I may ask some clarificatory questions before I propose, if ever, some amendments?
Yes, of course, Mr. President.
Well, Mr. President, my good friend Senator Bam, this is an issue very close to me. When I was elected as Congressman of Taguig Pateros in 1998, ang aming shifting was 6 to 10, 10 to 2, 2 to 6. Tatlong shift. At that time, umabot ng 60. I think may classroom pa na almost 70.
Yeah.
No? So yung shifting wasn't even 40 per classroom. And maraming schools walang tubig yung banyo. So nagkaka-UTI yung ibang teachers. Because of rapid urbanization, yung dating may basketball court, may plaza, may volleyball court, may I don't know if some schools had katulad sa private school na may mga dance studio, di ba? Or hindi pa masyado naman yung computerization noon. So I remember my campaign was I was telling parents, kahit maputikan ang paa ng mga anak natin, pwedeng hugasan yung paa. Pero kapag hindi na nakapag-aral, lalo kung maaga nag-asawa, mahirap bumalik sa school. Kakunti pa yung back-to-school programs nun. It's funny kasi nga, hugas pa kasi flood control din ang problema nun, putik. In Lower Taguig kasi doon, it used to be flooded very much. No? So during that time, 27 years ago, hindi mabango o automatic sa tao na mag-prioritize sa education. During that time, you had to convince that it's better than roads, kahit aspaltong kalye, better than waiting shed, basketball courts, etc. Kasi nga, especially in the very poor areas, these are areas that were proclaimed during the presidential election. No? So fast forward, during the presidency of your first cousin, ang mahal nating kabatch namin ni Senator Cheese, ng dalawang naging Senate President Mig Subiri and Senate President Cheese Escudero, kabatch namin si President Pinoy. And halos na fill yung gap since the EDSA revolution, which your auntie naman did something very good, which is to give free high school. People forget that before the EDSA revolution, may bayad yung high school. Kaya yung mga politiko noon, may scholarship sa high school, kahit notebooks, etc. Ang problema, hindi sumapat ang pondo or hindi na ilagay ang pondo for the additional classrooms. That's why during the first year of President Ramos, there was a study that many grade 6 graduating students could not read. And then nagkaroon ng issue whether quietly ang DepEd ay nagmamas promotion. No, this is all on the record. I think it's already on internet, especially with AI. But several reports to. That's why nga yung unang EDCOM, very basic doon. Ito yung naging problema. The world was pressuring us na mag K-12, and there were only, I think, 2 or 3 countries na hindi nag K-12. But I think there are 3 or 4. But 2 of those 4 had very good educational institutions. I mean, yung system nila were very good. But na-pressure tayo. I remember Senator Ralph Recto, who's Executive Secretary now, was saying, you need 250 billion a year from government, but 250 billion from yung bulsa ng parents to add kindergarten and the 2 grades. Okay. Nagdagdag ng kindergarten, medyo brinaso ni Brother Arminion in the sense that wala namang malaking pondo for classrooms. Nagkagulo. So the DepEd, the mayors, the regional directors had to find classrooms. Pero since half day, nagawa. But nung yung K-12 na, nagka-problema na. And then nagka-bridging programs, di ba? So because walang magiging incoming freshmen, maraming universities nagtanggap ng senior high. And it was a little bit an easy, what you call this, bridging or for them. Kasi basically, instead of first year college, ginawa nilang senior high, di ba? Ang problema, may income. So yung iba, nagustuhan na. Kasi nga, may voucher yon. Tapos yung ibang high school naman, for example, sa amin, let's say Signal Village National High School, wala na talagang space eh. At that time, we weren't making 7-story, 10-story classrooms. So ang naging problema, baka hindi ka graduate sa high school, saan ka nag-umpisa? And that's part of, although may mga transferees, di ba? But that's part of of growing up, eh, di ba? Kung lasalista ka, dun ka, or tenista ka, taga St. Jude, taga whatever high school you are, di ba? Upper Bicutan National High School. Parang kung hindi from elementary, from high school, at that time kasi martial law until FBR, hindi lahat ng barangay may high school. Pero, sorry, most places had elementary schools where you can walk to, but hindi high school. So, yung kaklase mo ng high school is not necessarily yung kaklase mo ng elementary school, di ba? And then, it's a new beginning kasi doon ka nagdadalaga, doon ka nagbibinata, di ba? But yun nga, nagkahiwalay ngayon. And usually, iba standards. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. So, it was, to be fair to President Pinoy, until his last day, they were really putting in the funds and everything. And to be fair to President Duterte, he was convinced by Secretary Liling not to scrap the K-12. Until the pandemic, medyo okay tayo. But three things happened during the pandemic. One, yung mga private schools hindi na rin kinaya, nag-close. So dumoble yung, so not only the normal population growth, di ba? But also yung from public, lumipat from private to public. That's why in Taguig, dinagdagan pa namin yung voucher para hindi mag-close down yung mga private. Kasi problema din natin, some people will say, anong pakialam natin sa private? Private yun. Hindi. Whether it's health or education, there should be a healthy mix between, di ba, the public and the private. No? So, and I'm not talking about the La Salles and Ateneos and San Agustin's and St. Jude's. I'm talking about big and small schools, from Christian schools, yung parochial schools.
Yes.
Parochial schools of the Catholic Church also give very good education, pero tinamaan din sila kasi kahit papaano may konting gastos yon, completely libre sa high school. Okay. The second thing that happened is that, of course, na-realize din nila kasi nga nung nagkaroon ng internet learning, maraming rural areas, wala namang internet, wala namang gadget yung mga bata. Then they realized that in highly urbanized cities, hindi lang libre, may Apple laboratory, may computer laboratory, aircon yung mga classroom. So, lalong lumipat sa mga highly urbanized areas, di ba? The other thing that happened is that nahuli yung mga bata. And then, ngayon kasi konting ulan, wala nang pasok eh. I mean, I see both sides, but if you look at the number of days na walang pasok ngayon, so, ang mismo na nagsabi ng statistics na to ay ang EDCOM, and I don't think anyone disputed it. Yung dapat 12.9 years of education sa K-12, ang actual lang is 7.5. So, forma over substance. So, we're telling the world, trust the Philippine education because we have 13 years of education. But actually, in reality, it's only 7.5 years. Para lang tayong private school na grade 7 plus 0.5. Para tayong hanggang first year high school lang. No? So that's why I laud your bill. But ang question ko, one step backward. If we were discussing now the state of education and not just classroom, that's my first question. Hindi ba ang tunay na solusyon ay tignan yung K-12?
Mr. President, kasama yan. If you remember, on our first week, my privilege speech, there was a 7-point agenda to address our education crisis, including classrooms, nutrition, and of course, stuntedness is one of your main advocacies, Mr. President. We talked about internet connection, support for our teachers, employability, and the curriculum, and K-12. And I committed to Senator Estrada that when we get back in January, we're going to have a hearing regarding K-12, and we will hear all of the proposals, left, right, and center. Abolition, modification, going optional. We will hear all of these suggestions, Mr. President, and do our best to come to a solution. Because I agree with you, Mr. President, in a previous interpolation, we talked about the failure of the K-12 system and how our grade 12 graduates are still not employable. Yun po kasi yung pinakapangako ng K-12. Pag graduate ka ng grade 12, di mo kailangan magkolehiyo, pwede ka na magtrabaho. And the employability of our grade 12 graduates, unfortunately, is really low. Napakababa po. So, I think we all agree there are problems in the grade 11, grade 12 system. We need to address them. And the proper hearing, Mr. President, and with the Committee on Basic Education, and with EDCOM, which you are also a member, I think we'll be able to come to a better solution po going into next year.
I appreciate the gentleman's effort, and I know you're coming in from a break. You weren't in the Senate for a couple of years. But I will disagree with you that we're addressing the problem. Because from my point of view, we're evading the problem. There are only two solutions to this. Pondohan ng tama or tanggalan ng 1 or 2 years. So even under this program, and ngayon, I hope hindi mag-stall yung BICAM, and I think all of us naman don't want a reenacted budget. So we're all confident that cooler minds and really having a good governance but relevant, effective budget is a must. But even with the 2026 budget, and even with this law, assuming everyone follows this, and even if LGUs realign their funds for this, the soonest na may mararamdaman tayo is 2 to 3 years from now. And mararamdaman pa lang yon. So kumbaga sa lagnat na 40 o 39, bababa lang yan ng 38.5. Hindi mawawala yung lagnat, no? So the most immediate is simple. Pondohan natin ng tama yung K-12 or tanggalan natin ng 1 or 2 years, di ba? So I remember I went up to you once and said na, bro, habang hindi natin to dinidesisyonan, it's like a dike. Tama ka, pagdating na Bam Aquino, ang daming tulo nung dike. Pero ang ginagawa natin, law after law, nagdadagdag lang tayo ng daliri para ilagay doon sa mga butas. ng dike, di ba? Pero wala talagang, ang solusyon talaga, either yung panggastos para walang tulo yung dike, or bawasan ng tubig yung dike para hindi mag-overflow, no?
Yes.
So I understand this is better than doing nothing. And when I say we are not, I include us because my whole of government. But ako, I'm ready now. Whether the decision is tanggalin 1 year, whether tanggalin 2 years. So has your committee done the computation? If we take out senior high, gaano karaming classrooms ang ma-free up natin? And instead of 7 years, at 35B a year for 7 years?
More, Mr. President. More like 90 billion a year.
So we need,
for 7 years.
Right now, I know you've stated it a number of times, but para dun sa mga nakikinig nyo lang ngayon. So how much do we need for how many years to close the gap?
90 billion a year for 6 years, Mr. President. We're now at 65 billion. So kung 65 billion, it's going to be 7 years.
Okay.
Meron tayong 166,000 gap, but every year, we have buildings which are condemned. We have an increasing population. May mga classrooms tayong nasisira dahil sa bagyo at earthquake.
Yeah.
And if you put all of that together, Mr. President, it's roughly about 39,000
Yes.
classrooms per year. Now, lahat po ng grade level is more or less equally distributed. So if you take out one grade level, Mr. President, that's divided by 12. No? So yun po yung masisave natin. Roughly about 12 or 15,000 classrooms if we take out one grade level, Mr. President.
Yeah. So let me drill down that point, no? In the rural areas, wala tayong problema masyado sa classroom in the sense that walang shifting doon. Meaning 7 to 3 or 8 to 4, ang problema natin doon yung facilities, textbooks, computers, internet, di ba? Pero classroom, hindi. Kasi nakakapasok sila na buong araw.
Depende rin sa definition ng rural, Mr. President. So if this is out of Metro Manila, they still need classrooms. But of course, the further you get out, the more land there is.
Well,
iba rin, Mr.
in the
President.
statistics that were given to me by EDCOM, ang 2 and 3 shift is in the highly urbanized,
Yes,
di ba?
yes.
And nagko-compound yung problema doon because dati mahal ang building, ngayon mahal na yung lupa. And mas mahal kung may nakatayo na doon. And then may konting problema sa expropriating. Nasa internet lang, nasa dyaryo a few days ago na yung issue sa Baguio na COA is saying na mahal ang pagkabili ni Mayor Magalong at ng Baguio City sa isang ano. I understand the predicament of mayors eh. Kasi usually yung assessed value mo, napakababa pa sa zonal, and then yung may-ari, kahit sa zonal. So for example, if there's 5,000 square, and I say, Mr. Aquino, how much do you want to sell it? Then you tell me na, boss, yung katabi ko kakabenta lang 70. Okay na sa akin 60-65 dahil school. Pag tinignan yung assessed value, yung sa table, 20 mil.
Yes.
Pag sa zonal, minsan lumalapit, pero depende kung gaano ka-updated, minsan 50. So pag binayad mo yung 65 na hinihingi niya, ikaw pa makakasuhan. Di ba? So that's one thing I'll ask later on na do we address that in the bill? But so it's not as simple as when it was in 1998, which is ang daming lupa, wala lang pera para sa classroom.
No, Mr. President. Land is definitely a problem, Mr. President. But for this year, ang laki po ng gap, 166,000. For this year, what we've allotted for about 30,000 classrooms, that will probably go to the schools where there's already available land, condemned buildings, condemned classrooms that need to be replaced. So palagay ko, Mr. President, case-to-case basis, but most of the ones who will receive classrooms this year, maybe hindi pa ganyan kalaki yung problema sa lupa. Once we get to the 3rd or 4th year, Mr. President, dyan na mas magiging seryoso po yung problema.
I appreciate your wanting to be precise kaya yung definition ng rural. I will rephrase it, di ba? Obviously, doon sa mga one shift na hindi lumalampas ng 50 sa loob ng isang classroom,
Yes.
wala ang problema masyado sa classroom.
Yes, Mr. President.
Diba? Kasi just by the name shortage. But doon sa 2 shift, lalo na sa 3 shifts, diba na 4 hours na lang sila sa isang araw, may problema tayo.
We also have, Mr. President, mga one shift pero kulang na talaga yung classroom nila. So nagka-classroom na po sila sa covered courts, nagka-classroom na sa hinahati nila yung classroom into 2. There was one area, Mr. President, na napuntahan ko sa Quezon, sa gitna ng 2 building, nilagyan nila ng bubong, ginawa nilang classroom. So
That's why I qualified it na walang shift or one shift pero hindi lumalampas ng 50 sa isang classroom, di ba? Kasi
Yes.
pag lumampas na, yung sinabi mo, hinahati,
Yes,
nasa
Mr.
labas and everything. Okay. But ang pinag-uusapan natin, Mr. Chairman, tama po ba, Mr. President, yung palang basic classroom, ha? Hindi
Yes.
pa natin pinag-uusapan laboratories, computer science labs, computer labs, auditoriums, everything that makes the best of our private schools effective and relevant. Hindi mo basta-basta mahanap ngayon sa public school yon.
yes, Mr. President, to be specific, what we're funding are the classrooms, the common area in a building, which is the corridor, and the restroom, Mr. President.
So you will agree with me, Mr. President, that even assuming we get a presidential and congressional guarantee that we will triple, we will do 270 billion a year for the next 3-4 years, it's a major part of fixing our education. It's a major part kasi foundational siya, may classroom ka. But then lulutang yung ibang problema na yung ibang private school may TV na, may projectors, di ba it's supposed to be parang techbook din eh. Ngayon ginawa na lang 2 ang
Tracking.
yung track, di ba? When we passed this law, we were sold the idea na katulad sa US. So pag sinabing halimbawa automotive, meron schools na high school pa lang, basic automotive, may equipment, tapos baka may driving school pa doon. Pag sinabing pananahe, may tela,
May sewing
machine, may lecturers, etc. Di ba? Pag sinabing sports, parang yung national, ang layo ng pangako.
Malayo, Mr.
Sa-
President. And if I may, Mr. President, mas simple pa yung problema. It's not even the facilities, it's the teachers. Kahit gusto mo ng automotive, wala ka namang instructor na kaya magturo ng automotive. Kahit gusto mo ng sewing, wala ka namang teacher na kaya magturo nun. There was one case, Mr. President, na yung school, kailangan ng baking, kailangan ng hospitality, yung sa hotel, kailangan ng cooking, at kailangan ng barista. Wala ho silang mahanap na instructor, Mr. President. They were offering 4 courses. They had to hire one person na lahat ng 4, dapat alam niya. So, nung tinanong ko po yung tao, sabi sa akin, Senator, I'm really barista ako. Yung iba, tumitingin na lang ako sa YouTube kung anong gagawin ko. So, even the problem of instructors, Mr. President, that's a very basic problem for K-12, Mr. President.
Yes. But half of that problem is not created by government. Diba? For example, yung kulang ng nurses, hindi gobyerno natin ang nag-create nun because nga malaki ang sweldo abroad. Tapos katulad sa US, pwede mo pandalin pamilya mo. But in terms of instructors sa technical, half of the problem, gobyerno din gumawa. Bakit? Kasi yung TESDA courses, 25 to 50,000, isa. So kung ikaw yung mga universities, i-offer mo na lang yon, you can pay the instructors very much. Isipin mo, bawat estudyante, 25,000. Meron 50,000. So kung 50 yon, 50,000 times 50, 2.5 million. Samantalang yung mga instructors na iba na yung dapat, kahit sa TESDA, dapat pinasok na natin sa high school. You can see it vis-a-vis the Philippine Science High School. Because they had a different system from the start. I'm not saying na per se it's all about money, pero per capita, I don't know right now, but when we did the K-12 study, parang times 3 o times 4 yung per capita spending for an ordinary student sa DepEd sa doon. So syempre, kung saan mas malaki yung per capita at saan mas malaki yung opportunities mo for personal growth, development, lilipat ka doon. And every time we ask TESDA, akala ko ba kaya nga namin kayo finand at may K-12 para wag na mag-out of school youth. Ngayon may 3-year course na rin yung TESDA, so parang graduate ka na nga ng high school 2 years later, or mag-out of school youth ka after the junior high school, and then magte-TESDA ka, humaba pa din ang TESDA, and then although may scholarship, lalong nagmahal na dapat sa elementary at high school pa lang, kasi like tayo, panibasa, we went to a private school, yung ating practical arts, tapos sa ibang school, may 1 semester, may 1 quarter, kasi by quarters, mag-exchange ang babae at lalaki, di ba? So like kami, let's say kung basketball, but may 1 quarter lilipat, magba-volleyball kami. Tapos kung practical arts, may 1 quarter, mag-home economics kami. But very basic yon, yung mga electronics na soldering, yung mga craft na yung eggs ay gagawin mong paperweight, di ba? Yung, of course, yung mga drawing for those who want to go to engineering, di ba? But unfortunately, unless you have, we do have wonderful teachers everywhere, but as you said, di ba? If 4 yung tinuturo niya, baka very good siya sa isa, yung dalawa, medyo kinakapa niya lang, di ba? Unless jack of all trades siya.
Yes, Mr. President, that story is to illustrate na even pagdating sa finding instructors, may problema na po yung K-12. And Mr. President, as you know, my position is our educational system is in crisis.
Agree.
And we need different solutions. It just so happened, Mr. President, nauna itong Classroom Acceleration Program kasi nais nating ituon dito sa budget. But definitely, Mr. President, all of these concerns, the committee does take them very seriously. And whether it's finding the right solution for employability, possibly taking out 1 year or modifying or improving the K-12 system, As you know, Mr. President, we're quite serious with tackling all of these issues.
I
as
don't
we go
doubt
on,
the
Mr. President.
sincerity, Mr. President. I don't doubt yung sipag. I don't doubt the research work. And you will be here, God willing, until 2031.
Yes, Mr. President.
And then allowed a re-election. I don't know where I will be after 2028. But assuming, for the sake of argument, this passes, assuming nga, from 65, gawin pa nating 90, one half. Ang problema, 3 years from now, pag nagawa yung buildings, di ba, ang sagot pa rin ng gobyerno, hindi pa rin natin kaya. So the point I want to drive at now is that if we want to solve this, it's not Band-Aid after Band-Aid. This is, for me, this is, how do I put it? Hindi to Band-Aid. So kumbaga sa napilayan, ito yung cast, di ba? Pero, or ito bakal para nga magamit na yung napilay, di ba? But it's not it's not a stem cell or it's not a rebirth or renewal because nga the problem with fixing the classroom problem without fixing the private sector, yung pera ng ating mga yung income ng ating mga mahihirap, and then kung hindi natin sasabayan ng mga instructors at saka facilities, we're setting ourselves up for bigger expectation and then mag-fail din.
Well, Mr. President.
So the point I want to make is that if we remove 1 or 2 years now, this law that you're making will not only transform from a bandage or yung bakal sa ano, it will transform to a multivitamin that will really get us up. Kasi nga, yung masasave mo iba sa classroom, pwede mo ngayon ilagay pa rin sa education in other parts. Just this one point, no? So, you've been following it. Magkano na ngayon kung today mapapasa ang budget, 1 trillion something ang budget
for education,
ng education?
1.3 including tertiary, 1.38.
In an ideal situation, anong estimate natin dapat budget ng K-12 to be fully functional talaga?
Mr. President, honestly, yung problema sa K-12 is not just funding. It's really the systems itself.
I agree. But the
Meaning, even if we threw money at it right now, Mr. President, kung hindi malinaw yung mga kailangang baguhin, ako, Mr. President, and as you know, as you said, bago tayong pasok dito, before we will fund it, we should agree on the solution. No? And maybe through the hearings, Mr. President, on K-12 next month, in January, mahahanap natin yung solusyon, ponduhan natin. Right now, kasi Mr. President, sa sobrang laki ng problema, and if you notice, even our EDCOM report doesn't really, it just says fix it. It doesn't really prescribe how to fix it. So there are suggestions there. We have other bills on school-to-employment programs. But until we find the right solution, Mr. President, it's hard to peg a number to solve the problem because the solutions themselves are quite many, Mr. President.
Let me respectfully disagree with you because when my wife Lani became mayor sa Taguig, we were second to the last in Metro Manila. Okay, and the formula was simple. We put money first for teachers. The seminars nila and everything ganyan. Okay, second, we made sure na walang excuse yung bata mag-drop out. So binigyan ng uniforme na nakatahi na. 2 pantalon or skirt, 3 pang ibabaw. Then we gave them all notebooks, bag, later on may vanity kit na rin. You put in the pencil, papers, etc. Later on, yung payong, yung shoes, rubber shoes. So there are simple formulas. I agree with you at a certain point. Kahit sinong anak, at a certain point, money doesn't matter. But right now, if we double it to 2 trillion, our educational will go up. Why? Just putting up computer labs. Just putting, so halimbawa, yung ibang mahina yung internet, ang solusyon simple. You put a TV,
Of course.
and naka-mirror dun sa professor. We've tested this sa digital. So my point is, Mr. President, yung EDCOM, kaya hindi na pre-prescribe lahat kasi hindi dahil sa findings sila. Dahil sa atin na nasa gobyerno, ayaw din nating harapin yung katotohanan na K-12 yung problema.
Mr. President, definitely, Mr. President, marami sa mga problema, pondo talaga yung kailangan. No? You mentioned a number of them. Pero pagdating sa K-12, tatlo kasi, Mr. President, yung may grupo na gustong tanggalin, may grupo na gustong i-retain, at may grupo na gustong i-reforma. No? But yung specifics yan, Mr. President, at least reading the EDCOM 2 report, hindi pa rin wala pa rin consensus talaga on what we should do. And I think, Mr. President, I know you're part of EDCOM as well, we can go into that in January. At pag nahanap natin, Mr. President, kahit masakit na katotohanan na haharapin natin, let's push for the real solution, Mr. President.
Mr. President, theoretically, this is the third EDCOM. Diba? I filed for a EDCOM 3. Ang difference is that dito commissioners na yung tatlo, Ched, but we chose to extend. EDCOM 3 na to eh. They tell us the same thing. Diba? That we say priority natin ang education. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the whole of government, Mr. President. Obviously, you're standing there because priority mo. But hindi natin priority as a nation. So, ang mga magulang sasabihin, mangungutang na ako, gagawin ko na lahat, basta't uunahin ko education ng ating anak. Ang gobyerno, baliktad. Yumaman muna tayo bago ko dagdagan yung sa education. I've never seen a parent who told their children, yumaman muna tayo bago ka pag-aralin. In fact, pinatitigil yung isang anak para lang isa makatapos para lahat. So the point I'm making, Mr. President, is we don't need further hearings to know that there's a simple approach to K-12. You name 3 approaches. Go back to K-10 or do K-11. Secondly is reform. And third is to fully fund it. Similar problem, MMDA. Some are saying the failures of MMDA is because bitin ang powers nila. Some are saying naman, we don't need it, abolish it. Okay, since naging konsyal ako, we've done nothing. We've just complained na ganon. Same thing sa LLDA. My first privilege speech, LLDA, Laguna Lake Development Authority. Ang first privilege speech ko, I see the Laguna Lake, I see the authority, may manager eh. Where's the development? Same thing. We've never passed, meron model. Gawin mong LLDA parang BCDA. Bigay mo yung tamang powers at tamang pera. Yun ang problema po. We've seen the success of the K-12 in the first few years. We've seen its challenges before the pandemic, pero nung nagka-pandemic, we can't rewind anymore. So ang choice lang talaga natin ngayon is to either magbawas ng 1 or 2 years, or, as you said, how do you deal with crisis? You don't just let it pass. There's something you do proactive. So happy na tayo dahil so the 1 trillion this year
1.3 trillion.
1.3 is how much more than last year?
400 billion more. I think
More or
it's
less.
about 400 billion more.
So it's substantial.
Yes.
Diba? But ako kasi ang estimate ko, ang 2.5 trillion to 3 trillion payat pa rin eh.
For education, Mr. President.
Kasi simple lang, kung ang Philippines high school is 3 times to 4 times yung per capita. Of course, there are other factors. They're the best of the best. Example lang, you get the best. But assuming, I agree with you, hindi pera lahat ng solusyon. But assuming that's the major factor. So if Philippine science is spending times 3, times 3 mo lang yung last year's budget ng 900, that's 2.7. Diba? But as you said, even if you give the 2.7 this year, let's say bibili ka pa ng lupa, itatayo mo pa. Even if we buy the equipment, itre-train mo pa yung teachers. But ang sinasabi ko lang, Senator Bam, I'm a little bit older than you. Diba? Senator Enrile passed away this year. I could not really imagine, isipin niyo po tayo, we went through 1 pandemic in our life. Siya, 2.
Dalawa.
Oo.
Yes.
Tayo, we went through EDSA 1, EDSA 2. Siya dumaan sa panahon ng Hapon, dumaan sa panahon ng Kano, sa Commonwealth, sa martial law, sa gano'n, di ba? But, and I know him enough Kasi I grew up na mentor siya ng dad ko at I could go to his office. But I really don't know in his heart what have been sadness. Ako, I can tell you what my sadness is if I die tomorrow or 30 years from now. If I'm still in the Senate and we're still discussing the same thing. And the problem is, we are discussing the same thing since 2013, 2014, which was 11 years ago. I mean, now, the difference is more people are listening to you now. More people are listening to us now. But not enough eh. Not enough. So my point, Senator Bam, is if we don't give them, the problem is extraordinary. So if we don't give them an extraordinary solution, this law will do good. But it also can give them false hope.
Mr. President, I think we're pretty clear that there's a 7-point agenda to education. The problem is huge. Sabi nga nila, Mr. President, how do you eat an elephant? Diba? With one bite at a time. So this, Mr. President, is going to be one bite at a time. We're going to move to K-12 next. We're going to move to textbooks. We're going to move to stunting. In fact, we've already funded the school feeding program. Kulang pa rin yung sa barangay-based feeding program, Mr. President. Pero iisa-isahin natin yan. And with what you mentioned, Mr. President, na you don't want to die tomorrow na ganito pa rin yung problema.
Or 30 years from now.
Or hopefully 30 years from now, Mr. President. I think we will continue to try to reform this, Mr. President, find the right solutions, or we will die trying.
I thank you for your patience, but let me just drill that point one more.
Yes, Mr. President, go ahead.
You mentioned eating an elephant, di ba? Did you notice na sa mga carnivals or even pagka pinapakain yung mga elephant sa mga zoo, did you notice may tali sila and then a small peg sa ground na kayang-kaya nilang hilahin yon but hindi nila ginagawa? Have you noticed that?
No, Mr. President.
Okay. So take a look at yung yung mga elepante. So wherever that's connected, tapos may tali, tapos may peg lang parang sa tent na nasa ground. Okay? The reason for that is when they are children, when they're very young, I don't know what you call a baby elephant, no? But nung pag baby pa sila, tinatali yan, let's say sa puno. So kahit anong alis nila, hindi. So by the time it matures, hindi na niya kayang isipin
Na kaya niyang makawala.
na kaya niya makawala. So that's why if you hindi mo inabot sa tuwing Saturday ng umaga yung Tarzan,
Okay.
kaya pag nagagalit yung mga animals at kay Tarzan at gaganon yung elepante, dun lang nahuhugot. At pagka gumanon na yung elepante at nahugot, na-realize niyang wala, dun lang siya tatakbo. Pero habang nakatakbo yon. So I just want to drill down that point. Na yun ang problema natin ngayon. We're like that elephant. We're doing many things. We're in the carnival, tinitignan tayo. Yes, the lion is the king of the jungle, but an elephant is an elephant. But until we do one of two things, go back to K-10 or 11 or fully fund K-12, hindi masosolve yung problema. We will improve ng konti. Diba? But ang problema kasi dun sa eating the elephant one bite at a time, I agree with you. But the problem is, katulad nito, for the next 3-4 years, kung ano man baba na ang baksak ng grade natin sa educational system, you'll have one generation or one 10-year gap na ganun yung aabutin ng mga
Yes.
bata. Diba? Same thing sa stunting. So kung ngayon 27% ang prevalence, if we don't do something radical in 2026, and I don't see that in the budget for 2026, kung bumaba man, maging 25, 1 out of 4, masa-stunt. So ganun na yung school system natin, tapos may 1 out of 4 ka pa na sa stunt, it gives us such a grave,
It's a grim
Yeah.
picture, Mr. President. But
So one question lang, tapos baka wala namang amendment.
yes, Mr. President.
So if the LGUs have their own present system and will use their own money now, will this bill affect them?
Yes, Mr. President. They can draw on this fund and use the funds that they have to augment.
But nothing in this bill naman will hamper
Oh, of course not, Mr.
them if they have their own PPPs, if
No,
they have
Mr.
their
President.
own So it's really meant on if they need help going there.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
President.
I said last, but last na last.
Yes, Mr.
Can we put something in and subject to the right words of simplifying it, or in this bill is there an office in DepEd na as you said, di ba, yung to make it
PMO,
simple, for example, no, let's say the LGU has money or has target land. Pwede bang isa na lang sa DepEd ang bumili? So, God willing, hindi siya mademanda.
There's
Pero para to simplify na lang.
There's a PMO, Mr. President,
Yes.
that DepEd needs to assign. They already have a current team that handles infrastructure.
Yes.
That's the PMO that's going to
I
handle
asked
this,
that
Mr.
then
President.
during the budget hearing, if you, Senator Gatchalian, I think, was the one defending. Sabi ko, lagyan mo na ng, actually yung sa classroom, sana it's flexible to be used there. Pero sana, kasi ang sagot sa akin nun ni Senwin, and of course he's been also outstanding sa education sector, is that may fixed amount, etc. But I was saying nga, it's not na hesitant yung mga mayors, it's just too complicated. Diba? And it takes so much time. So can you imagine, kung mag-expropriate ka and it takes 1 to 2 years, then you're gonna build a 7 to 10 story that takes 2.5 to 3 years. So we're talking 5 years. At ang term nila, 3 years. But kung sino man yung nasa PMO, especially kung career siya, and especially kung may deputy siya, he or she will transcend the 3-year terms ng mga, ano, and that could help the mayor's plan. So, speaking for my LGU, where I am from, it's really, we have to create new schools eh. Kasi puno na rin yung mga existing. And of course, we will do what we have to do. What I'm saying is that, imagine if we identify 3 places, but yung sa ano, does that no? I mean, I don't know if it's just, or something very powerful sa declaration of policy, putting not only the onus but the hope in the PMO, in the Department of Education na to put up, I think if you say naman put up new schools, included na dyan yung pag-ano ng land. But I just wanted to end by saying na those are the 2 things that we have to do in parallel. Dun sa mga rural na malalaki pa rin ang lupa, help the principals there, the supervisors, plan them. I was a teenager when I started going to Cebu because my dad was EPSA administrator in 1984-85. So I was 13, 14 years old. Walang tao sa Mactan. And I really fell in love with Cebu until now, no? Unfortunately, in terms of urban planning, despite many great planners like Lito Osmeña there, kung ano nangyari sa Metro Manila, nangyari din sa kanila eh, sa planning, etc. So, that's my other fear, di ba? Is that if I die tomorrow or 30 years from now, yung schools sa mga rural na napakaganda, and when I say rural, not necessarily bundok or island. I mean, there are places in Calabarzon, in Quezon, in Bicol na ang gaganda pa ng schoolyards, di ba? But then, sabihin, ma'am, 3 hektarya ka naman eh. Bigay na natin sa housing yung kalahating hektarya, which is valid. O ma'am, gawan na natin ng gym yan para sa barangay, ganyan. And then we wake up one day, wala nang school grounds at wala nang tatayuan. So in parallel, di ba, tulungan natin ng husto yung mga may lupa and then how can they, in parallel, how do they get in? As you said, di ba, not only January, even now, even the budget hearing, inaayos nyo yon yung paano tulungan yung mga yon. Pero yun nga, yung mga cities na wala na eh. Talagang yung ganun na lang yung school, tulungan natin silang makabili ng lupa. Baka, I don't know if we should even put it as a mandate, di ba? That the DepEd shall, something like that. I leave that at the, I believe in you, Senator Bam. That's why
Thank you, Mr. President.
I don't make it a specific amendment proposed, Mr. President, but I leave it at your footstep and I think...
Mr. President, for the record, there's a Section 9 which talks about the Program Management Office, and Senator Pia Cayetano had a really good amendment to this section, Mr. President. At more or less, Mr. President, yung mga nabanggit mo naman about reviewing the proposals, looking at the projections, looking at demographic and population trend analysis. It's stated here, Mr. President, that the PMO under DepEd will be handling all of this, Mr. President. Well, of course, Mr. President,
you know very well she's my ate, so I cannot say hindi maganda yung kanyang amendment. But
of course,
this is
Mr.
a Section 9, di ba? A program management office
Yes.
with a DepEd headed by in charge of shall review and approve. Can we make it more proactive? something shall, instead of review and approve, something like shall pursue or what's the right word that we can put na parang,
Shall-
it will be symbolic, but
Okay.
kasi dun sa shall review and approve project proposals, para bang siya pa maghihintay na may proposal tapos sa kanya i-approve.
Mr. President, may I move to suspend?